Alright, let's go for the mag. Let's see, that puts you to 3. You're still gonna get taken out though, aren't you? Aren't you, buddy? This does say onto the battlefield, right? Yeah, put that card into the... You put that card on the battlefield. They didn't... Whoa, they didn't block it all. You're crazy. You're actually a little crazy, aren't you? What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're diving back into an old card that gets really increased in value with new cards. We're diving into Gadrick. And long story short, you probably noticed that from the title or thumbnail or something I mentioned or said before. But if not, if I haven't mentioned or said this name prior to now, then yeah, 5/4, 3 mana. Creates treasure tokens. It's essentially a dragon deck that we're all focused on treasures, because apparently in Magic that's all dragons really do. They sort of guard your treasure, or they create you treasure, or they, you know, in some way spin around this whole treasure aspect, which is fine by me because we have enough cards nowadays with, you know, treasure in them that I think we could pull this off. Now, one note here, I only have one Gadrick, but I only have one copy of Gadrick. So if you have more, play more copies. I think 2 copies would be fine with this card. 3 copies, maybe pushing it a little bit, but you know, 2 is fine. So Gadrick, for those of you who don't know, it's a flying 5/4, 3 mana card, which is baseline stats insane. However, it can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts, which we're going to get to that here in a minute. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. Now, this is a little tricky because it says at the beginning of your end step, not an end step, not your opponent's end step, but your end step, which means things like Selfless and Outlid, they're good for sacrificing and getting the treasure token when you're attacking, right? Not so good when it's on the opponent's turn. Still fine, still going to save your creature, but you're not going to get the treasure token, which, yeah, you may not give a single flying who's or less. Anyways, the other cool cards in this deck that we're going to be playing revolving around treasure tokens. Of course, we have the new and improved, I guess just new is not necessarily improved, Goldspan Dragon, 5 mana 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token, and this is important, treasures you control have sacrificed this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color instead of just the classic add 1 mana, which means we're essentially doubling the amount of ramp we're gaining, adding, whatever. English is hard. Another card we have dealing with treasure is going to be Magda, which comes down on turn 2, and we can actually proc it on turn 2, which is insanely awesome. Other dwarves you control also get +1/+0, and if you have 5 treasures, sacrifice it. You can find an artifact or dragon, put that card onto the battlefield, not into your hand, onto the battlefield directly, then shuffle your library. So again, another sort of payout here for us having those artifacts. Now, playing Gadrick alongside Magda, a little finicky, as, you know, again, you want to have 4 or more artifacts so this thing can attack, and you want to sacrifice those very artifacts so you can find the dragon, but essentially you're just going to weigh that out, right? Do you need Gadrick do you need Gadrick attacking? Are you close to that lethal? Do you need the defender more, or are you looking for, you know, Goldspan? Because Goldspan, having that out, allows you to create even more treasure tokens. So it's really just a weight scale. These 2 are probably the biggest, like, nombo of the deck, but just be careful and you won't screw yourself, right? Anyways, Magda creates your treasures, allows you to find these dragons and your Embercleave, which is, of course, excellent. And then we also have Goldvein Pick, a card that, again, I don't know if I've ever seen this card, but when you couple it with something like Embercleave or Halvar, where you can attack twice in a single turn, it's kind of okay. So, equip creature gets +1/+1, and the nice thing about this card, 2 mana to come down and 1 mana to equip. Generally, if you see a piece of equipment, it's like 2 mana to come down and 3 mana to equip, which makes it a 5 mana sink altogether, and your opponent can just remove that creature. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a 3 mana sink for a +1/+1 stat line, which is not fantastic. You got to remember, you're going to already have some treasures being created here or there, so paying that 3 mana won't be as hard in a traditional sense for most other Boros decks. Let me say that correctly, because again, you sort of have this ramp in this deck, which is insane given we're not green. We're not playing green and we're ramping. Anyways, Goldvein, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, combat damage. So if you have double strike and you hit them twice in a single turn, you do get to proc this twice. You can create a treasure token, which of course feeds back into the Magda, feeds back into, well, the entirety of the rest of your deck, as helps your Gadrick, helps your Goldspan, helps your Embercleave, blah, 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 blah. We also have Leyline Tyrant, another dragon in the deck. I really like this because it gives you a place to store all those treasure tokens. It gives you something to use all those treasure tokens on if you don't have an immediate use for them, right? And your board's about to be wiped, sacrifice them, add all the red mana when this thing dies, do the damage, you know? It's not super ideal, but it's a hell of a lot better than losing everything for nothing, right? So I really like Leyline Tyrant. I really like the fact that you can draw it out with Magda. I like the fact that Magda boosts up your turn 1 Staunch Shield Mate, and then that draws you, or doesn't draw you, that creates you treasures, which sets you up for your next turn, and, well, thereafter forever, right? So, a couple other new cards we need to take a look at. Runeforge Champion, we're going to be grabbing out Rune of Sustenance and Rune of Speed. These cards are excellent. Rune of Sustenance, I can't recommend this highly enough. If you can get it onto an Embercleave, you're living pretty. Onto a Gold Vein, it's awesome as well. Rune of Speed, really nice. Not necessarily essential as your top-end creature being Goldspan. Does already have haste, but it's nice for, you know, getting Leyline Tyrant down and just swinging out. Having Halvar come down, and then creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. Boom, Rune of Speed gives this card haste. It's now like a 5/4 with double strike and haste. It's just a lot of power, right, that you can have out of nowhere, essentially. Cole is another sort of unplayed card, but honestly, it's nice because of what it does to the opponent. It forces them to essentially not look at your biggest creature, but instead look at this one, or look at Selfless, right? So, Cole the Forge Master, 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. English is hard. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. We're not too worried about that one today. I don't know that we have any creature tokens outside of the War Chant or Scald, which, again, that's going to be a minimal sort of interaction, but when it does happen, it will be nice for you. But the nice thing about Cole, it gives you a pseudo-selfless savior-like effect. It's not going to save your creature entirely. It's not going to keep them from going to the graveyard. It's not going to keep them on the board even. But it will allow you to replay that creature and essentially not lose the value and have to rely back on top decking, right? So if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. That's essentially what we're going for here with the Magda or the Runeforge, right? We're trying to enchant or equip. Actually, just equip. I don't think this is really in a equipment or an enchantment sort of deck outside of the runes. But anyways, you get the point with Cole. It helps keep your creatures going, essentially. The other really, really nice thing about Cole that I found, you can equip stuff to your Selfless and your Owlslid now. Like, previously, you wouldn't ever want to do that because you sacrifice the Selfless and, well, you don't get anything back out of it. But now, sure, you may lose your auras, but your equipment's going to stay on the board, so you can always re-equip that. Your Selfless is going to pop back into your hand, so you can always replay it, and you're still going to get the ability of the Indestructible. So, Cole plus Selfless and Owlslid, honestly, really good and kind of slept on because it gives you almost complete defense against targeted removal and destruction removal. Of course, the exile effects, they're still going to suck, but, you know, that's life. I don't think there's really anything else in this deck worth mentioning a crap ton. War Chanter is really fun. I just enjoy it. I love creating these 2/1s off of the back of, you know, a Staunch Shield Mate swinging in and us also getting treasure tokens. I think it's fun. Maul to help send your stuff into the sky and give you evasion. Really good because sometimes all you need is that last little spring swing. Akiri, Fearless Voyager, again, only in here as a one-off. And if you want to make your deck more efficient, as some people would say, you can slim it down and increase numbers around the board elsewhere. Because again, this isn't a dwarf, so it loses a bit of efficiency there. But I think what you gain in that spot is insanely valuable. So whenever you attack a player with one or more equipped creatures, draw a card. You don't have to deal damage, you don't have to connect, just attack and you get to draw. Really good whether you're on the back end or the front end because of this next part. Pay 1 white mana, you may unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Now, let's look back at Gold Vein. It only costs 1 mana to equip it. So we're not going to be, you know, unequipping Embercleave and then having to pay 3 mana, so it's not like a 4 mana total encounter. Gold Vein makes it to where we can use Akiri's ability and not lose a crap ton of value in having to re-equip our piece of equipment, so to speak, right? We could literally use Akiri's ability and re-equip the Gold Vein all within 1 treasure token if we have gold span. Because, you know, 1 mana unequip it, 1 mana to re-equip it. So it's powerful, it's strong. I think this deck has a lot of little synergies that work really, really well together that you just might not think about until you actually get in playing the deck and trying it out. Anyway, sorry this took 10 minutes for me to apparently explain an aggro deck that won't even take you 10 minutes to win with, but, you know, I try to make sure everyone understands every element or aspect of the deck. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you've been enjoying the video, and I've went this whole intro without saying anything about it, but let me know what you think about the new webcam and the new setup I have. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, you can see more of me. I'm a little bit more animated. Things should be crisper, cleaner, whatever, but if there is an issue, be sure to leave a comment down below, leave a like if you enjoy the video, and of course, subscribe if you want to see more content. Without further ado, we're gonna we're gonna dive into this dragon equipment deck. Alrighty, Bloodwashed, gonna be our next foe. We do have the lands in these cards. We got a rune already. I'm gonna keep. I don't love it. I don't love the fact that this is our land source, but I think it'll be alright. This only costs 1 to equip, so our Rune Forge is going to get big, potentially. I'm also realizing now that my camera is a little far over, so I'm just going to drop Shatter Skull. Tapped. Tap. Oh. That should be a little bit better. Y'all can see the Embercleave and stuff now. Alright, so Robber for the foe, and we got a Coal. Not to be confused with the Cold. So more mono red. That's... Tis fun. Let's go ahead and drop the Rune Forge. Next turn we can... we can drop a rune onto something. We can have 2 creatures swinging in. Maybe we throw down a Kiri. If we draw into a land, a Kiri plus a rune. Not a bad idea. We'll see. Enox is obnoxious. Leyline Tyrant, so nothing really. I could drop Gold Vein, put it on the Rune Forge, swing in, create a treasure. Doesn't do too much for us. I could put both runes onto him. Put him up to a 3/3 with lifelink. Not really worth it in my opinion. I think I'm gonna go for a Coal. And I really want you to be able to take out the Annex. So we're going to equip the Rune Forge here. And if it dies while we have a Cold down, of course, we'll be able to get that card back in hand. And we also got another land out of that, so we might as well go ahead and equip the Rune Forge with life gain as well. Or do I save this and throw this on Gold Vein or Embercleave? Oh, hell, we can always pull it back later. Let's throw it. Let's toss it down. Draws us a card, gives everything lifelink. Do I swing in? No, I don't think so. I think we use it as a defender or a bait for removal. Now, granted, I think that the Coal, the little one, is going to take the removal. Yeah, it's going to get bone crushed. I'm sorry, Coal. It's, you know, there's nothing I can really do about that one. I wish. I wish Mono Red wasn't winning so many tournaments. Or, you know, placing, getting up there. Being so prevalent in the meta. So we won't get this thing back if it dies now, which is super unfortunate for us. Throw that down and equip it. Or I could also just drop a Leyline Tyrant. Yeah, I just do it. Just send me the damage. I don't trust you, Bloodwashed. I feel like you got something up your sleeve. I feel like you didn't wash your sleeves out of all your tricks. I guess we'll see. Y'all let me know how the new camera settings are looking. I've tried autofocus. Yeah, I don't know how I like it. It just tries to focus way too much. I'm like, yo, stop. Alright, let's drop this down as red mana. We do have a gold span, which is incredibly awesome. We could also throw an Ember Cleave down onto the Rune Forge, which again, you know, 4 damage, 8 and life gain. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby. If we get an Ember Cleave ourselves, I don't think they would be able to take us out if we go up to 24 life either, which is a rather big benefit, I'm not gonna lie. Let's let them know that we're thinking. We're not just sitting here, you know, AFK or some random stuff like that. Alright, you know what? I think we're going for the Ember Cleave. I thought about dropping the Gold Vein and putting it on the Rune Forge. It does put it slightly higher than the Annex, you know? We'll see, though. Annex isn't to the point where it will create 2 treasure tokens, so that's part of the reason why I'm going for this here. Anyways, Ember Cleave, and they just Rimrock Knight. That's actually not gonna, it's not gonna help. Well, it does create them more tokens. I will say that it does give them a few more tokens here. Anyways, we're back to 24. Little unfortunate we didn't throw the runes onto the Ember Cleave now, because obviously if we can just move that Ember Cleave around, we could throw it onto the Gold Span, and that Gold Span would have haste and all that kind of cool stuff. But that's alright. We can always drop a Kiri come next turn. Alright, Rimrock for the foe. They could have Ember Cleave here. They do have 3. Yeah, look at you. Ember Cleaving back on my Ember Cleave. You know, the nice thing about my Ember Cleave, my creature with Ember Cleave, it has life gain. So we're going to be here all day. So I can 1000% equip Gold Vein to Rune Forge. Question is, am I going to get 2 mana back from it? If so, I'd say that's kind of worth it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Gold Span lands, we create that. That's for sure 2 mana. Leylon, we get the 1. I'm going for the Gold Vein. I want to see. I want to see what love is. So that should be 1, and this should be 2. Hey, it worked. Cool beans, I know what I'm doing. So do we want to Leyline down? That is the question. Do I want to Leyline? Do I want to save the mana? Do I want a Kiri? A Kyria? A Kiri? I don't know. Let's just drop in a Kiri, right? 5, 1, 4. But you can't do that. This is fun. We have the Gold Span, which is why I'm trying to like save my treasure tokens, if that makes sense. This also allows us to do this, where we can unattach the golden pick and give this thing indestructible. So it not only does it save the treasure token for the Gold Span later, it gives us a form of protection for one of our creatures, and, well, arguably our most important creature. Not even arguably, it's downright, that is our most important creature. Alright, so opponent drops Annex. They're at 5 health, we're at 26. I do feel good about that, you know, if you can go up against mono red and not just get smeared across the windshield, then you gotta be doing something sorta okay, right? Something sorta okay. Sure. Swinging in with everything once more. You know, Akiri is important to me. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to try and block one of these 1/1s swinging in. I know they may have a Bone Crusher or whatever, but yeah, I just don't want to take all that on my face. If I can stop even 1 bit of damage, well, I'll do it. They're just moving the Ember Cleave over to the Annex. You know what's beautiful? What is absolutely gorgeous about that? It means that we have a free win here, ladies and gents. So there's the Gold Span Dragon. Yeah. I actually don't think that was full lethal. Well, no, whoa. Because yeah, they only had 1 defender. We have 3 attackers. Obviously, lethal. Obviously, especially given this thing is going to punch through and deal 1 extra damage. Yeah, nice. Take that, mono red. Sarcanus lupus. Isn't it a lupus? Like, maybe I'm thinking of lichen, like werewolves stuff. Anyways, we'll keep this hand. I don't know where that came from. I'm actually gonna go ahead and drop the planes in the selfless. I thought about dropping a tap mana and then turn 2 dropping selfless and then turn 3 dropping Gadrick. I don't think that's a horrible idea either. But we can do it this way. And hey, look, we got a staunch shieldmate, so I'm super happy that I dropped the selfless turn 1. Voice cracks are always fun. End turn. Excuse me for the cough, by the way. I try to mute myself when that happens, but sometimes I just 1000% forget. I'm not gonna lie. All right, my turn. I was hoping to see a Magda. You see a staunch shieldmate, you want to see a Magda right thereafter because you know it's a 2/4. It creates you the treasure. Everyone walks away a happy lad or lass. At the beginning of which instep? Your instep. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. See, because I can have the Goldspan Dragon come next turn. That's why it's that's why it is interesting. I just sacrifice selfless. My turn. Drop this. We have golden next turn. Equally so, if I don't, I can drop Embercleave next turn? Maybe just drop Embercleave next turn. As much as I love the idea of dropping a golden sooner rather than later and being able to ramp in Boros color scheme, because I love that. Don't get me wrong, I love that. Having Gadrick, having all these like Magda, create these treasure tokens. It's strange that you no longer have to be in Simic, you no longer have to be in mono green in order to ramp. Like this deck can ramp. It can ramp very, very efficiently or reliably, I guess is a better way to say that, right? Any hooser, what's its I do want the outslid down, and I wanna get this Gadrick ball rolling. It's only gonna be 2. Oh, you know, I said we could play Embercleave, but we can't. We don't have the red mana. I don't know where I thought I was getting that mana from, but it's fine. We're gonna drop an outslid. That's right. That can only go off on their turn. I'll need to remember that. Not gonna lie, I'm a little more tempted now to sacrifice the selfless and guarantee ourselves that gold span come next turn. Because once we have the gold span, like everything's smooth sailing. I gotta sacrifice one of them. You're gonna cost me a mana, but I think I'd prefer to have the selfless since it doesn't cost me any mana, right? Hell, I don't know. We're gonna try it because I got creatures, I got time, I got nothing better to do. So that'll work. That'll do, pig, that'll do. They have no idea what's going on here. Alright. Thank you, Gadrick, you kind dragon, you crown scourge. The crown scourge. I wonder why it's... Does he have a crown? Am I missing a crown somewhere on this big beastie that I can't see? His face is ugly. His face is so ugly. Not saying it's a bad art job, by the way. Let me clarify that. It's not ugly as in poorly executed. It's ugly as in I think it was intended that he was like sort of a disgusting creature, so to speak, or whatever. Sacrifice a creature, planeswalker. We're gonna sacrifice the selfless. Why would you sacrifice that one? That doesn't make any bit of sense. Whatever. I got a Goldspan Dragon. Very nice. Get him. Get thy enemy. Do you do anything with treasure tokens, or is it just you create them? No, you just create them. Okay. I know with Magda we can go find our dragons, but realistically we have all of our dragons. Oh, Ora, 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 ora. So opponent doesn't really do anything with their turn there. Ooh, Magda, you're coming a little late to the party. I'm not gonna lie, Missy, but you know, late's better than never. I am a wholehearted believer of late being better than never. So drop you, Staunch at least goes up to a 2-3, which is kind of nice. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, which means we would only need to swing in, well, actually 5, 6. So I could swing him just with Goldspan and still get Embercleave down, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Swing with you. Does give us another one. Alright, let's go for the Magd. Let's see, that puts you to 3. You're still gonna get taken out though, aren't you? Aren't you, buddy? This does say onto the battlefield, right? Yeah, put that card into the... You put that card on the battlefield. They didn't... Whoa, they didn't block at all. You're crazy. You're actually a little crazy, aren't you? Mr. or Mrs. Lupus. You're a little loopy. Anyways, we're taking them down to 3 life. I fear they may have a board wipe. I fear they may have a board wipe. So with this, I can still go for that. Yeah. No, we're just going to end it. Just going to end it on that note. If you board wipe me, well, that sucks. But it is what it is. Alright. Fingers crossed, no Doomscar. I can feel it in my bones. It's the Demon Disciple. Not that bad, actually. Actually, factually, not that shabby. So that's, and then you do create 1, but you don't create that 1 soon enough. I'm not getting rid of the Gadrick. I'm gonna get rid of Staunch Shieldmate. I don't care what you say to me. That's the plan. That's how I'm doing it. They still have to worry about In Disguise though. Not In Disguise, but you know what I mean. Creatures flying. Because Goldspan's pretty big. It deals 10. I mean, I guess I'll just get rid of Gadrick. I don't know. You're making this difficult on me. I'm not going to lie. The Ra won't get big enough to heal enough to save them. Close. Close. But no cigar. Yeah. Alright, so another GG. Hey, look at me. Dragon equipment. Doing his stuff. I do enjoy and appreciate that. When I can go out, use a deck, and it just performs. It's just like, yeah, I got you, Chance.